Love Letters to Virginia, the podcast that keeps Virginia on the map, is sponsored by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Welcome back to Season 2 of the Love Letters to Virginia podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Pasmino. Thanks for listening. Hey, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey. So where am I calling you two from?
We're in Virginia Beach, just in our house.
So I was watching a little bit of your show recently, and I thought the fact that he found out that he was originally this sneaky link was so funny. How did you guys actually meet?
So he was doing a show locally, and it was like a comedy show, and they needed comedians. So they called me, and we started working together and had fun doing that. And then I felt like he was trying to break my relationship up, and then
Which I wasn't.
He was, and then we didn't speak for a year, and then we got back together at a book release that he had, and that was kind of how it was. So it was work, basically.
Okay, awesome. So you two have been in comedy for a while then.
Mm-hmm. I've been doing stand-up for 10 years, and he's a writer. So
J-Rod, you're a writer. What do you write?
Anything that goes on paper. Well, I wrote a book back
what's the
in
name of your book?
The Friend Zone Playbook.
Okay.
I wrote that back in 2016.
Yeah.
2016 maybe. I've written scripts. Sketches, the usual.
Anything we can watch?
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it out there.
What to say that you wrote it?
Yeah. But the book though, the Friend Zone Playbook, it's in all digital stores. So you can check that out.
Okay. Have you done an audio version of your book?
No, I actually haven't. We were in talks to do that, and the pandemic happened, so we never got back to it. But
it's probably a good time to do it now.
Yeah.
Right.
So audiobook might be something coming soon.
I hope so. So tell me about how you started your podcast.
So the podcast was started basically as a necessity for Kristen. She was pregnant with our two boys at the time, and like she said, she's a stand-up comedian, and she didn't really have a chance to do stand-up because you got to stand up, and it's hard to do that when you're pregnant. So we had to find a way to keep her comedy going, and the podcast just seemed like the perfect way to do that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, consistency is really the key.
Yeah. It was hard. It's still hard, but it was hard.
Yeah, consistency. It's the make or break of many podcasts out there. So we've tried hard to do that. Now, of course, with regular life and kids and marriage and just everything, it becomes difficult. But we've tried to stay consistent and to give a product that's worthy of attention.
Amen. How many kids do you have?
Too many.
4?
You said 4?
We have 4, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
It would have been 3. I had 2 at the same time on accident.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good twin surprise.
Oh my gosh.
No, not at all. Not at all. I don't know who those people are you reference.
Maybe in a different context.
God.
So are you two natives of Virginia?
No.
So I am. I mean, I was born in DC, but I've been in Virginia all my life, in Virginia Beach all my life.
And I am a New York City kid.
Okay. Like Manhattan, which borough are we talking?
From the Bronx, boogie down.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. I was born in Long Island.
Oh, awesome. What part?
In Nassau County. My dad lives
Okay.
in Freeport, but he grew up in Queens.
Oh, okay. Cool. My father spent some time out there in Nassau County. So yeah.
Yeah, I always find little connections to people somewhere in New York all the time.
Yeah. It's a big city.
Yeah, it seems like everybody has some kind of connection to it. I think you're just my connection. That's all.
So how do you recognize someone from Virginia?
I don't, you know what? It's not even that. It's just mostly, it seems like everybody in Virginia has come from New York some kind of way. Like I met so many people, either New Jersey or New York. It seems like that. I don't know what it is or why y'all come here, but.
Okay, well, this is a question I always want to ask people, but I never remember. How do you recognize a transplant?
Their accent.
Taking pictures, I guess. I don't know, just being real. Virginia Beach tourists usually just have something Virginia Beach on them all the time.
Yeah.
Like at all times. Some kind of shirt or hoodie or something.
Fair enough.
Or they dress like Pharrell. There's that too.
Like with the hat or like Supreme?
I mean, Supreme or Dunks, or like they just live on the beach. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Okay, I love that. How did you get started in comedy?
Me, I had a lot of jobs and didn't feel like doing any of them. But the one that was consistent was that I was always goofy. And I took a writing class one time just to have a hobby, and it ended up turning into me doing stand-up. But I've always been like funny, but I never thought I could go on stage. And then I went on stage one time and I was like, oh yeah, I think I'll do this. This will be fun. Yeah.
So what was the class that you took, or who was it with?
I think it was actually at the Muse. It was at the Muse in Norfolk. It was creative writing. And it was just, it was taught by a guy that used to be a manager of comics, but it wasn't like a comedy class. But after doing that, I went and performed somewhere, and then I was like, okay, well, this is kind of fun.
Do you remember your first performance?
Yeah. You know why? That was probably the reason that I'm doing it, because it was stupid, because I performed in front of family and friends. So of course they laughed, and I went out there like I'm the funniest person ever in the world. And then I did another show after that, and it wasn't the same. And it was at the Wing Spot in Virginia Beach. It was at, yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
Winks, like Wink Salon?
A wing spot. It's
Wings.
like yeah.
Wing King?
Wing, like buffalo wings. That was my first show.
Okay. Where was your next show?
I think I did another room somewhere. I can't remember exactly where it was, but it was another like small place. Like someone saw me at the first show and invited me to the next one. But it was another small place for a while.
So what really changed for you in that, or after that set? What did you learn from that?
Probably that you have to concentrate more on what you're trying to deliver. I was just being, I guess, what most people think comics are, is just going up and just being funny. But I loved comedy so much that I went back and I was like, I have to work on these actual stories and jokes. And And then I was just talking about everything, and it wasn't personal to me. So after that, I started telling actual stories that I knew about, because it was also easier for me to remember because they were true. But yeah.
That's the beauty of truth, is you can always find a way to package it to either make it, a sob story or to make people laugh. I'm always going to choose to make people laugh, though.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super fun though.
Listen to the podcast.
That's pretty much it.
It's J-Rod.
Kristen Seville's.
And then we have Sex is the Podcast. And it's the fastest growing podcast everywhere that you're listening right now.
And social media, Instagram, and then we had Sex. And YouTube, and it's a little bit everywhere. And March 27th is our show in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Charlotte Comedy Zone.
Do you have a hard time coming up with content ideas for your podcast? I find that there is nothing more embarrassing than all of a sudden being stumped in the middle of a conversation where it's like, I know I had more questions for you, but I just can't remember what they are right now. And that's why I'm trying Poddex. Poddex is the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards and pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use code C4C.
Hey, this is Latasha Holloway. I plan to be the future mayor of Virginia Beach, but when the time comes, I will need your support. As a veteran of the healthcare field, I understand something about empathy. We must have empathy and compassion in order to improve Virginia Beach.